Hey, good morning, Jamaica. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, it's pretty dark in my background because I'm driving. It is early morning out here. But I thought about you all. It is the 26th day of February. I believe yesterday was the birthday of the founder of the Jamaica Labour Party and a former Deputy Prime Minister also, Dr. Ken Ball. What's the man thing, Ken Ball? And I believe today is the birthday of the first female Prime Minister of Jamaica, former leader and leader of the PNP, the Honorable Portia Simpson Miller. But most importantly, today is, as he said it, the leader of the opposition, Marky G, today is his date with destiny. The calculation for me is a little bit weird. You know, I've been around Jamaica's politics for a while, and local government elections are local government elections. You know, they in his case, I understand his real destiny with time is, if he fails to perform well in this election, the entire People's National Party will once again erupt in trying to replace him and to find a new leader. So I understand that calculation. But to say it is the beginning of the end for the government is not the correct calculation, because at the end of the day, the laws have not changed. The Prime Minister determines when an election is called, and so he has more time on the clock to run. And it is the people who will determine whether or not it is the beginning of the end. So I would ask the leader of the opposition to cool it. Now, what I want to talk about this morning is the closing arguments from both leaders. So on the one hand, I heard the Prime Minister's closing argument, and the Prime Minister spoke about a spirit of entitlement among some Jamaicans. Some who believe that they're members of the upper class, they were born gifted and entitled to lead always, and entitled to be in charge always. And so, you know, there's a certain member of parliament that's no longer, a certain person who is no longer sitting in the House of Representatives, but is sitting elsewhere in the Senate, who I recall when they sat in the House of Representatives, that was their posture, that was their behavior towards the current Prime Minister. You are less than us. How did you get there? And I think the people read right through that, and they didn't like that disrespect. And I think that's one of the reasons why they were not returned to the House of Representatives. That behavior, that condescending, I am better than you. You do not belong. As if we are not all equals. And I can think of some other people that have risen to become prime ministers that you could have said that they did not belong. But they did their work, and that's how they got to where they got. And even if it was a fast come up, as it was for this prime minister, it was because he played his cards right. So hear me now when I tell you that I found the prime minister's closing argument to have some validity to it. He said that they believe that they're entitled. I believe, this is my personal belief, that the leader of the opposition believes that he's the best thing since sliced bread. That he's the best and only person who can lead the PNP at this time. That he's the best and only qualified person to lead Jamaica at this time. I believe that's what he thinks. And I believe that behavior, that posture is wrong. If you think you have a vision for Jamaica that you think is best for Jamaica, or you think could move Jamaica in a better direction than we are now, then make that case. But don't come across condescending and disrespectful, as if you are better than others, you are more capable than others. That's how you conduct yourself in the House of Representatives. To every single law that the government try to pass, you approach it as if they're coming with something that doesn't make sense, and only you, Mr. Mark Olin, could have presented something that makes sense. That's how I've watched you perform the entire time in opposition. And that behavior, and for all members of the opposition who takes on that posture, I would ask you to rethink that position. Because I believe that that behavior has kept you in opposition for 2 terms, and likely 3. So that's the Prime Minister's closing statement. Then there's another closing statement I hear from the leader of the opposition. And his closing statement is directed to the business community. He talks about the fact that each person is entitled to 3 hours to go out and vote and another extra hour for lunch. And he expects the business community to grant that, honor that, follow the law. But it's not so much what he said, but how he said it. The tone at which he said it, the tone and the way and style in which he delivered that message to the business community is what I personally believe it would be his tone and his conduct if given a chance to lead Jamaica. He was very authoritative and direct in his delivery to the business community. I believe that it would be valid if you said to the business community, remember, there is a law, and this is what the law says. I expect you to honor it, and all Jamaicans expect you to do that. That's a clear and simple message. But if you don't believe me, go back and listen to his message to the business community. Almost in a bully fashion. If you don't do it, I'm going to take you on. Well, you know, I'm sure by now they know that that is the law and they should honor it. And if somebody wants to remind them that the EOJ has done, then do that. But I don't expect politicians to unnecessarily try to bully anyone in our society. Not the business community, not those with different political views. You make your political view and you stand on that. But that direct, authoritarian, bullying way in which you talk to the government, that's the way you approach the government. That's the tone that you took on with the business community. And I believe if given a chance to govern, that's the tone you will take on with Jamaica. And so I just believe that you should be kept where you are and not be elevated any further. Any further. But then again, today is your date with destiny. So I leave it and I turn it over to the people of Jamaica. Hey, y'all go today and be safe. I am proud of my country. I am proud of the way this campaign was conducted. Never before have I seen in the history of Jamaica where our politics have almost become a festivity, a festive event, where I'm sure there will be an economic bump out of all the expenditures that went on. But most of all, it's just the way how the ordinary Jamaicans got out there. It's a new spirit, and I can't say it's a generational shift because I saw young and I saw old. People who realize that we all live in the same communities, and when the polls are over, we all got to say hi to each other so we're neighbors. And that's how we conducted ourselves. Jamaica, we have something to teach the rest of the world. The rest of the world will be talking about this election when it's all said and done. This one is for the history books. Y'all have a blessed day. I'll be watching you all day. I'll be working, but I'll be watching you all every step of the way. If I was a commentator today, I would have the resource DJ in the house with me. And now the 2 hours up on the track and the Jamaica Labour Party has taken off to a early lead. And I see the PMP scrabbling around trying to get their voters out. But the Labour Party seem to have taken off on a early lead. And I see Andrew Jones watching from the stands. And Mark Golden sitting in his jacket shivering. But the race is on, the race is on.